Hello students, today I'm going to look at soil and its composition, and your teacher is Mr. Osifu. First, I want to look at the meaning of soil. What is soil? Soil is the uppermost part of the earth's surface in which plant is grown, or it serves as a medium for plant growth. Having looked at that, I will also go ahead to look at what is soil composition. Soil composition are the various components of soil, or what soil is made up of. They can also be described as the constituents of soil, and these components are air, water, soil living organisms, organic matter, and organic minerals. I'm going to look at individual components of soil. But before I look at the component of soil or individual component of soil, I want to show you the percentage volume of a good agricultural soil that is shown below. We have air, 25%, water also having 25%, mineral matter 45%, and organic matter 45%. Although here we are saying that air and water are having 25%, though it varies because we are having dry season and rainy season. In the rainy season, the amount of water is bound to increase because of the heavy downpour, and thereby reducing the amount of air in order to increase that volume of water. So though it varies from season to season. Having said that, I want to look at specifically air as a component. Air is necessary to the growth and development of plants, and it promotes easy germination of plant seeds. It is needed in soil reaction, particularly carbon and nitrogen cycle. Though air also serves as a good medium for aeration. And what is aeration? Aeration is the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen between the soil and the atmosphere. Remember that all living things in the soil actually need air, both plants and animals. Hence, those days you were taught Mr. Niger D. You remember M stands for movement and arrow stand for respiration and all that. So we know that all living things in the soil need air. Again, I'm going to look at water. Water also have 25%, as I said earlier. It's a major component of the soil and is very important for plant growth. For instance, it helps to regulate soil air and temperature. In addition to that, it supports the life of microorganisms in the soil, because I told you that all living organisms need water and air. It dissolves and makes mineral available for plant use. Remember that plants absorb their food or nutrients through water in the soil. So water is very, very important in the soil. However, I want to show you classification. We have classification of water in the soil. This is not hard water and soft water, as you already know, but we have classification in agriculture, which we call one, gravitational water, capillary water, and hygroscopic water. And I'm going to discuss each of them. So here I have illustration. Here we have capillary water as first there. Then the next one is gravitational water. Then here the feed capacity is represented, is also called the hygroscopic water. Then we have the combined water. I'm going to show you different arrows pointing, showing the movement of this water. First, I'll start with the gravitational water, where you can see the arrow moving downwards. That is obeying the gravitational pull, or what we call force of gravity. Now, the water at the top soil will definitely go down. That water will never be available for plant use. So in your textbook, they call it unavailable water. So that is also why it's also called unavailable water, because it never makes itself available for plant use. But if you look at the second arrow on the other right hand, you're going to see that it's moving towards the up. That's the topsoil. So that shows what we call capillary water. Capillary water disobeys the force of gravity. Instead of going down, it moves forward and goes up to show that it's always available. Hence, it's also called the only available water. For the feed capacity, which I also told you that is called hygroscopic water, is never also again available, because the amount at which is present in the soil is very little or faint. So it can be removed by sunlight, or even plant root. So therefore, it's not available for plant use. It's just removed by little sunlight. So it's never available for plant use. I have a picture here which also show a kind of a reaction or a force or a result of the gravitational water. You can see a gully has been developed, and this gully is a result of the gravitational water that has just occurred in that soil. Hence, you see the gully that have been caused by that gravitational water, showing a heavy erosion taking place in that region of that soil. The next one I'm showing you here is soil organic matter. Soil organic matter actually is a mixture of animals and plant materials. Hence, we say they are together with soil living organisms. Remember, I told you they both made up 5%. What is soil organic matter? Soil organic matter is a major source of plant food in the soil. It shows the presence of humus. It shows that the plant is rich in terms of nutrients. It helps in the modification in terms of texture and structure and even color of that soil. It improves water holding capacity. It again helps in the aeration of the soil. Increase the activities of microorganisms, because even soil living organisms are there together with organic matter. So these living organisms help to decompose or decay the waste product that already caused. So that will result to finally humus, and humus is needed by plants. So soil organic matter is very, very important to the soil. Remember, I told you it's a mixture of plant and animal material. That's the living things that are there. So again, I'm going to show you. Here is a sample of soil organic matter, which is a waste product from farm animals. So that vividly you can see here. If there's water in this organic waste, definitely you're going to see living organisms working on the decomposition of this waste product. That will increase the rate of soil nutrients. Here is a sample of soil living organisms. Though I told you earlier that they are together with soil organic matter. We have nematode, bacteria, and smaller organisms like rats, the small mammals that actually help in the rate of loosening the soil. We have other living organisms here, millipedes, centipede, and all that. All these are important living organisms that actually also help in loosening up the soil. They play an important role in the soil. Finally, I have soil mineral matter, which actually have the bulk of the entire components. Soil mineral matter, like I said here, or you see here, has 45%, and this forms the solid part of the soil. There are two major soil mineral matter. You have the macro minerals and the micro minerals. It will interest you to know here that the macro minerals are needed in a larger quantity. That is, they must be present, even though they are present there, but they must be present in a larger quantity. And why that of the macro minerals are needed in a very small or smaller quantity, it is also very important that they should be there in that quantity. I want to give an example of those macro minerals. The macro minerals we have are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, calcium, and so forth. All these are very, very important. Remember, I told you earlier that nitrogen is very, very important to the green coloration or chlorophyll of the plant. Phosphorus is also very important in root development. So all these minerals are very important. Any one that is lacking or even in a reduced quantity will affect that plant. They must be there. So I'm going to show you later some plants that are deficient of these minerals. So let's also give an example of the macro elements or minerals. We have the copper, the zinc, boron, molybdenum, chlorine, etc. All these one again are also very important. Later I'm going to show you a plant that is deficient in boron. You'll see what it has caused or resulted in that plant. So let's get started by looking at a picture of a plant here that is showing deficiency of nitrogen. Nitrogen, like I told you, is very, very important to plant. If you see a plant that is naturally green color, you know that there is full presence of nitrogen. But here you have a plant leaf that is showing here, it's already turning yellowish. And that shows that plant is lacking nitrogen or is deficient in nitrogen. And when this occur, what will later result is defoliation. Defoliation is the falling of the leaves, and you agree with me that if the leaves of plant have started falling, of course photosynthesis will not take place. You remember photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process whereby plants synthesize their own food in the presence of sunlight. So let's assume the leaves of that plant is already falling. So what will happen? Photosynthesis will not take place, thereby depriving that plant from manufacturing their own food. So that will go a long way to affect the general well-being of that plant. For example, the plant will generally be stunted. Growth will not take place. So the yield will definitely be low. So it is a waste of time for a plant not to have nitrogen. So we can replenish that nitrogen by adding fertilizers like urea or NPK. But later we'll talk about that in a subsequent topic. My next topic will talk about the details of that. So let's look at the next plant. Here I have a plant that is also deficient in phosphorus. Phosphorus is another important element that is needed in plant. But if you compare the leaves of what you have seen before, you can see that there's a change in the symptoms of the leaves here. Instead of, when we talked about nitrogen, we said in nitrogen the leaves were turning yellowish, but here we have a purple or brownish color of leaves from the tip backward. You see there's a slight difference from what we are saying before. So this one is no longer yellowish, but a purple or brownish color. So that is if it is affect the leaves. Then if again, generally if going to show in the plant, like I said before, stunted growth, then one major thing about phosphorus is also recognized by root development. If a plant is lacking or deficient of phosphorus, definitely the root will be poor. And if a root of a plant is not well established, of course that will generally affect the well-being of that plant. Of course, stunted growth and the root, the fruit, the flowers and everything concerning that plant will be poor. Again, I have another one which shows the efficiency of potassium. Potassium is also another important element in the soil. Like I told you, it's a major element. Here we have a twist in the leaves again. Instead of brownish again, you have a kind of from that brown coloration of leaf. Now this one is along the outer margin, not from the tip again. It's showing from the outer margin. So you see that there's a change in the former one. This is showing deficiency of potassium. Again, if it affects the plant generally, it's going to affect cessation of water to that plant. The plant will not absorb water, then sugar will not be absorbed. So it definitely affects the well-being of that plant, thereby affecting the fruit. Finally, I want to show you, let's look at the micro, because we have been looking at the macro element. Well, let's go again to look at the micro or macro minerals. Example, boron. The first one or even the last one I'm going to show in terms of the nutrients. Here we have a plant. This is pawpaw plant, and you can see the fruit. It's already affecting, or it already affected the fruit of this pawpaw plant. It's not only the fruit it can affect the general plant entirely. But here I have a picture of the pawpaw plant which has already affected the fruit. The fruit were already getting mature, but because of the deficiency of boron, there was cessation of growth, and it went ahead along to affect the general well-being of the plant, thereby ceasing translocation of sugar and water to this plant, and thereby affecting the general being of the plant. Now, other areas it can also affect is that the fruit will definitely be poor, as you are seeing here now. Decrease the water allocation, I've said that before. Then there will be a twisted appearance of young leaves. The leaves will definitely be twisted. That's coil in a form, and that will not expose the leaf to sunlight. Of course, like I told you before, the presence or the importance of photosynthesis, when the plant leaves are supposed to be open for radiation of sunlight and is now being twisted or closed. So boron deficiency will make sure that the leaves of plant are closed in order not to get enough sunlight, and that synthesizing of their own food will no longer be there, and it will affect generally the well-being of that plant. Yes, from the above discussion, you will agree with me that soil composition is an important aspect of nutrient management. Hence, there is need for this study, and there is need for us to know the individual component of soil in order to apply the wisdom. If anyone is lacking, if anyone is deficient, you know how to supply artificially all these nutrients in order for the plant general well-being. So stay safe and have a nice time. Bye.